Welcome to episode 7 of Newysports TV. I'm Ty Stedman, and today, whenever you're watching this may be uploaded during the day, we are going to be going through the FFA Cup first weekend, round 1, played over the last 2 days. It's currently very late. It's 11:17 on Sunday night. Let's see. This video could probably carry into Monday morning. First things first, I'm going to turn this fan off over here because... Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to not turn the fan off. This about 100 degrees in this room. Let's get into the action. First things first, Garden Suburb and Kotara South kicking it off yesterday morning. This game, in my mind, this game feels like it was 2 weeks ago. I'm not going to complain. I've enjoyed the weekend, but I've probably watched a good 20 hours of football over the last 2 days, so my mind might be a bit fuzzy. On yesterday's games. There's a bug on the iPad screen. It's all going on here. Alright, so I got underway with Kotara South and Garden Suburb. Tigers went behind early on. A 14th minute goal to Les Wallace, who doubled that lead in the 17th minute. Definitely the key man for Garden Suburb, Les. Bit of controversy, you know. He's well, I heard some stories on the weekend. He seems like a pretty wild character to have in your team, and he definitely came to the party for Garden Suburb. The referee wrote that wrong. And yet Les played a brilliant game. 2 goals, getting on the score sheet early on. But a goal for Luke Derwin in the 38th minute gave Kotara South a little sniff just before half time. And 49th minute, Tony McClement put the Tigers in front. The Zone League 1 team taking the lead over the Zone Premier League side. Sam Skinner equalised for Garden Suburb, which isn't in my review. Yes, it is. Okay. Tom Tredenik put Kotara South back in the lead, and their big moment came from Tony McClement, 80th minute goal. And trust me, there was a few Kotara South fans up on the hill behind the benches. They went absolutely insane, and why not? This was a big win for Kotara South. Definitely deserved winners in my mind. A classic cup game to kick off the weekend, and a famous victory for Kotara South. But next week, awaiting them is a trip to Lambton to face the Jaffers, where, let's be serious here, this cup run is probably going to come to an end. If it doesn't, then wow, Kotara South. But all credit to them, and good luck against the Jaffers. Probably going to need it, but who knows? I do doubt it. Alright, we move on to the next game. I've just clicked off the screen stupidly. You'd think I'd have a teleprompter by now, but I don't. This is all just one take. I'm not going to sit here all night doing different edits. Hamilton Azzurri versus Barnsley United. This Azzurri team played a few of these guys last year, I believe, in H grade. Maybe. I can't say I don't really recognise many players that I've played, but I'm pretty sure some of these guys were from the H grade team last year. And a very good debut in Zone League football for Hamilton Azzurri, or return to Zone League football. They took the lead early on for Andrew Bailey. Liam Butler equalised for Barnsley. Zach Wheeler played well and almost gave Barnsley the lead from the spot, and then again, he missed from the spot and then gave Barnsley the lead. Wheeler scoring that goal, the number 10 for Barnsley. Talking about 10, they were reduced to 10 on the half-hour mark. Jacob Avelis sent off for what I've described as general silliness, but now that we're on the video, let's let's go more in detail. Kicking the ball for one, descent for another, just general silliness really. And I didn't actually see it. I've heard he might have headbutted the gate of the field on the way out. That's not smart. I think he'll probably look back on that with a bit of a laugh. I mean, it's FFA Cup, it's pre-season, but sort of let his side down there a little bit. But they held their own, Barnsley, and even with 10 men they weren't that far off. Azzurri would equalise. Jason Delforce I had as the goal scorer, but the official sheet shows an own goal by Matt Muscat from Barnsley. Parity restored, both keepers strong. Clint Steele I thought had a very good game for Azzurri. A couple decent saves to keep it 2-2. And finally the defining moment would come in the 87th minute. Lachlan Baber. There's going to be some very bad pronunciations coming up very soon. Scoring the goal, 87th minute, Azzurri winning and going through for a famous big win for this club, a famous win in the FFA Cup. They've got Broadmeadow Magic next week. That's going to be it. That's a very, very tough draw. Azzurri versus Magic. This is going to be a good game. This is going to be a game I feel that Azzurri is going to play their hearts out, and it may get a little bit heated. It may get a little bit physical. They may just try and stop Magic from playing their game, if you know what I mean. A lot of coaches out there will know what I mean. But yeah, credit to Azzurri, a good win yesterday. We move on. Maryland-Fletcher 0, Wallsend 6. It sounds like a flogging, but it wasn't. Maryland-Fletcher really held their own, the Bulldogs. They were the better side in the opening period of the game. Wallsend scored first through Winston Oku sounds cooler. But Winston, I like watching Winston play. I think he's got some real talent, and one of Wallsend's, maybe not one of their best players, maybe not in the top 2 or 3, but definitely one of their entertaining players. And alongside Tiga Marcus, these guys are really good. Like they teamed up yesterday. Winston at it again in the 31st minute. Stormed down the wing, just sending the Maryland players flying. Bounces off one, bounces off two, crosses it perfectly to Tiga Marcus, and Marcus slotted home for the Wallsend's second goal. Maryland-Fletcher with a penalty right just before half time. Andrew Hines stepping up, smashing it over the bar. And look, that's a game-defining moment. If that went in, it's 2-1 at half time. Big difference. Marcus scored his second goal in the 48th minute, which pretty much put the game beyond most reasonable doubt. Grand final scoring hero Trent Milton slotted home in the 55th minute, and injury time goals to Tim Davies and again to Milton rounded up a 6-0 lead. I'm not one to toot my horn normally, yes I am. I tipped 6-0, it ended 6-0. Why wasn't Sportsbet taking options for this? Could have made a mint. But look, this was a decent display from Maryland. The score doesn't tell the story here. 6-0 against Wallsend. They held their own for the majority, and Daniel Carpenter was strong. Their goalkeeper Ryan Osborne, who I missed out on giving a shout out to last night, he played a really good game. They had a young left back, Jordan Quinn, who I thought did pretty decent when he came on. I seriously thought he was the coach's son when he got to the ground, but there'll be something about a young left back later on in first game of day 2. But that's Maryland-Fletcher 0, Wallsend 6. Red Devils play Charlestown next week, and by all means they can win that. And that's with respect to Charlestown. They're not the strongest NPL club. They're not bad. They're not the worst NPL club. but they're not the best, and I think Wallsend could very well beat them. But this game will be at Charlestown, so it'll be an interesting one to watch. I won't be there. I'll be at Lambton and probably Magic. That's not determined yet anyway. The games for next week, while we're under that, the games for next week, Northern New South Wales Football will put up the venues and that tomorrow, I believe. I already know them, but I'm not going to go through them now, I don't remember. RAAF 1, Hunter Simba 9. This was the biggest result of the weekend, and it should have been more. The RAAF, this wasn't their day. That I'm not sure if they had players out. I've heard that they might have had a couple players out. They could not deal with this Simba team. These guys were brilliant. They were bloody brilliant. There's a descriptive word for you. 4 goals to Hamid Amin. Here's the pronunciation. 1 goal to Abu Kamara. 1 to Nonda Magani Amer. 1 to Emmanuel Kaka and 1 to Dylan Morris Welsh. Convincing win for the Zone League 2 side. Some of these names. I think I did very well there. I like watching Simba play. I really enjoyed it. RAAF's goal coming from Lem Bregan. They didn't have just his first initials R. They didn't have their full names there. That's the Air Force style writing for you, just the initials. It just wasn't their day, to be honest. And Simba just too pacey, too skillful. Nonda Mageni Amer, this guy's awesome. One of my favourite players of the whole weekend, this guy. The captain for Simba. Wearing the number 10 reminded me a little bit of Ronaldinho. Let's not go too far. But just the style, the hair, and it was just brilliant. Just going through the defence like a knife through butter. Simba, I know how to counter this team. I spoke to an opposition zone league coach yesterday who said physicality matches the Simba's pace and skill, and RAAF, I don't think they got the memo. But Simba, this game was an awesome display. Next week they've got a huge test up at Maitland, against Maitland. Matt Thompson, I guess Dean Heffernan now, Matt Crowell I believe it is, from the former Mariners player, Carl Thornton. It's going to be tough for Simba, but they'll give it their all. Don't get me wrong, an exciting team to watch. Alright, Dudley Redhead 1, Dudley Redhead Juniors this is. Dudley Redhead 1, Muswellbrook FC 2. Pretty simple game really. It wasn't a high scoring affair like some of the other games over the weekend, but they're both thankful for that. They both got smashed last year, but the opening goal came from Kahibah. Curled in a delightful free kick to open the scoring for Muswellbrook. It was always going to be tight scoring, I believe. Greg Load, a goal for Dudley, got the equaliser. I don't think the ball crossed the line, but the officials gave it, and the officials were the final. But I'll sit in the grandstand, which is, for those who know the Macquarie ground, it's sort of not in line with the field, but it's behind the goal, so it didn't look like it crossed the line though. Muswellbrook missed a penalty to go ahead. Dudley missed a crucial chance, and then finally Kahibah would score the second goal. Dudley's defence, Red Sea. That's what I've written here on my review. I'm not going to use the descriptive swear word that I want to use here. It starts with an S, I think you know what I'm going here. It was poor defending. This was horrible. Muswellbrook just strolled straight through the defence. The goalie will be upset with that. I think he had a good game, Drew Russell in goals for Dudley. But yeah, their defence just got this all wrong and they paid the price. And that was it. Mason Solly, I believe it is, the goalkeeper for Muswellbrook, played a very good game and kept them in the lead late on. And yeah, a decent display from the Muswellbrook Eagles, and next week they will meet another Eagles, Edgeworth. It's going to be game, set, match, over. That's going to be Muswellbrook gone. I can't see them beating Edgeworth. They're the Zone League 2 team against the NPL champions. These games, you know, you want to make it to Fox Sports, you want to be playing Melbourne Victory or whatever. But for Muswellbrook FC to play Edgeworth Eagles, this is a huge game for this club. And they should just go out there next week and give it their very best. 2-0, 6-0, 15-0, as long as they give it their best, you can't complain. Alright, we move on to Nelson Bay 0, Beresfield FC 3. The Beresfield, not Beresfield Juniors, but they're a separate team from Beresfield United. They play at Taro Park. They wear purple and black, or white yesterday. This was a decent game, played out between two Zone League 1 sides. Beresfield's Brett Martins opened scoring. Mitch Hardy had a chance to equalise, but it wasn't his day in front of goals. Toby King scored for, well, he was involved in the build-up for Callum Penglazer's goal midway through the second half, and he was also involved in scoring his own goal, Toby King scoring the goal in the, in the 45th minute. I think that's the 45th minute of the second half, right at the end. 3-0 for Beresfield, pretty comfortable, not much to write home about really. It was a decent performance by Beresfield. Nelson Bay weren't too far off the pace, they were just outplayed on the day. Beresfield will be facing Western Workers next week. Good luck with that. That's going to be a very tough test for Barrow. Mayfield United Senior 4, Bolwarra. Bolwarra or Bolwarra? Someone's going to have to correct me on that. I'm going to go Bolwarra, Lawn 1. This was a hell of a performance from Bolwarra. I don't know. I've never been there, so I don't really know how to pronounce it. I have been to Lawn though. I did play up there a couple of years back. Credit to the newcomers to Zone League 3. Mayfield United are a serious football club, and they took the lead in the 38th minute. Bolwarra had Mayfield at 0-0 for 38 minutes. I tipped them to lose 8-1. My apologies. Mayfield scoring that first goal through Jason Crawford, and just before half time, unfortunate moment, Jim Keefe scoring an own goal for Bolwarra, 42nd minute, 2-0. 7 minutes out from half time it was 0-0, half time it was 2-0. It could have been a different game if the Bush Rangers held on till half time. Mick Derricott scoring, putting the game beyond doubt. Jason Crawford getting a double, and last but not least, a goal from Mick Gavin, giving the Bolwarra fans, there was a handful of them in the stands, and they went off their nut when Mick Gavin put that goal in. The first FFA Cup goal for Bolwarra Lawn Football Club. Mayfield too classy on the day. They've got a huge test next week in Hamilton Olympic. I'm going to say that they're probably going to be out. These NPL clubs, they're not going to lose to Zone League opposition, and if they do, there's major issues. Hamilton Olympic will not want to lose to the Mayfield Tigers, but Mayfield are a strong defensive side, and they're a side that if they can sort of hold on to Olympic and not let them get too far ahead, keep it 1-1, 2-1, you know, anything can happen. My leg is going to sleep at the moment. It's not good. It's not good at all. It's been a long day, but we move on to the final game of yesterday. Thornton Redbacks 5, Edgeworth Jr Soccer Club 0. There's really not too much to say about this one. Thornton dominated from the get-go. They were better, their targeting was clinical. They could have had 10 goals if they stayed on side. The linesman on that far side just maybe was getting paid by the amount of times he put the flag up. It was quite crazy. It was Milos Trifanovic territory, this amount of offside goals, or offside calls. Edgeworth didn't lay down to their credit, and they just weren't the better side. Thornton were the better side. Jamie Subert opening the scoring. Mitch It's been a long day. Mitch Kaczynski scoring in the 18th and 24th minute. I should know him, he plays New FM. I've got to do better than that. Subert scoring his second in the 26th minute, 4-0 at half time. Talon Martin getting the only goal of the second half. Subert's a big addition to Thornton. If Darryl McAllister's side can keep all their players on the park, there's absolutely no reason they cannot push for a top 4 spot. And I know I'm saying that about a lot of New FM teams, but Thornton have that potential. And if they can keep it going, they may very well push into the top 4. They'll definitely be about, they're not going to finish last. No way. Raymond Terrace, apologies here. These are the 3 games from Macquarie Field yesterday. I don't really have too much of a recap from the 2 today, but thank you to Northern New South Wales for all these team sheets. Raymond Terrace 4 defeated Westlakes 1. I'm just going to read this straight off the team sheet. Nathan Hanley scoring 3 goals for Raymond Terrace. Josh Tozel scoring another. Westlakes actually had a lead in the 2nd minute, believe that, Sean King. I didn't even know that. So there you go, it was 1-1 at half time, and Raymond Terrace just being a bit too classy in the end. Credit to Westlakes, I wrote them off. I predicted 4-1, I believe. I might be wrong with that, I think I did. But the last year was a very tough year for the Westlake Wildcats, and from what I've heard, this team, I think they got a new coach, Graham Schofield it says here. I don't really know if he was there last year or not. I don't work with Zone League too much, but some more experts, other club coaches and that, they reckon Westlakes might be improved this year. We'll see how that goes. Very tough venue at RAAF. Mine's a very long way out of town. South Cardiff and Cessnock, all New FM game. Admittingly, I was not there for this game, but I've spoken to a club president of another New FM club and 2 coaches from other New FM teams who said this game was, for the lack of a better word, crap in the first half. And that's what I've been told. So please, you're probably going to blast me in the comments anyway, but that's what I've been told. They came back over to watch the other games, all those 3 people. Mitch Cox, is it? M for Mitch, that'll do. Mitch Cox opening the scoring in the 10th minute for Cessnock. They were leading 1-0 at half time. South Cardiff, I've been told, dominated. Well, not dominated, they were the better side in the second half. Jamie Wooten, I believe that is. This is why you don't hold pieces of paper with fans on. James Wooten. Credit to whoever wrote this team sheet for South Cardiff. That is the neatest writing on team sheet I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of team sheets. James Wooten scoring in the 70th minute. 4-2 on penalties. South Cardiff progressing over Cessnock City. A decent hit out, I feel like both those teams have been pretty poor in pre-season, and I'm not sure how it's going to go in the actual New FM season, but probably got to be better than that though. From what I've heard, the game wasn't played in the best effort. It was hot yesterday, to their defence, and it's still pre-season, but the season is 2 weeks away. I can comment on the Cessnock game I watched a few weeks ago. If they come out and they play like they did against Westie, they will not win many games this year. Southie 8-0 against Kahibah the other week, outplayed on the day. They're through in the FFA Cup. They are penalty shootout specialists, I think. I think I'm remembering that correctly. They know the FFA Cup well and they're through to the second round. Lake Macquarie City 8, Cardiff City 1, although their goal scorer is not written down on this sheet. Apologies to Cardiff City for that. That's not my doing, that's the referees. Sam Walker, I got told he scored 3 goals, but it says he only... Oh, he did. 3rd minute, 9th minute, 16th minute. Inside a quarter of an hour, Sam Walker, 3 goals, game over. I mean, this guy is just brilliant. He's the best player in the new FM League, and it would not be a surprise to see him get over 40 goals again this year at this rate. Lake's best player, Lake's most valuable player. Touch wood, he doesn't get injured this year or suspended or anything like that. Lake's without Sam Walker, it would be interesting. They've got a very strong squad across the park. They've got one of the best teams in the comp, but he is so valuable with that club, and he's very well appreciated out there. I think he's a real club favourite. 3 goals in the first 16 minutes. 42nd minute goal to Clouden Amatage. I hope I'm saying that right, it's very small writing. 42nd minute goal, he got another one in the 72nd. Blake Green getting 81st and 83rd minute goals. Cameron Legay Brea. I know this name, I'm just... Legay Brereton, I believe it is. It's not written very well on this sheet. 84th minute goal. And an own goal to... Cardiff's goal was an own goal from Matt Gray. It's written on the wrong side of the score sheet. But it's a very... it's obvious on the score sheet. 4-0 at half time. And then, you know, 4 goals in the last 20 minutes. This game just got away from Cardiff. Lakes are too good a side to be really tested by a team in zone in the Premier League. Lakes versus Valentine next week. Last year the Roosters were knocked out of this tournament by Valentine. They were denied promotion by Valentine. It's going to be an interesting game next week. Alright, we move on to day 2. And everyone who was there today, everyone who knows the schedule, will know what game was first. Cooks Hill United 3, Dudley 3, Dudley progressing on penalties. I'll talk about Dudley first because they were great today. There can be no excuses. These guys were the better team. They played a good brand of football. They played a smart game. And there's crap blowing everywhere at the moment, but they did have a send-off. Cole Hector getting sent off for just a couple silly fouls. It was a correct call. They were lucky to be without 10. Well, they were lucky to not have a send-off in the first half with one of their players, Matt Baguana. So that was in the 52nd minute. Just being the last defender, taking out a Cooks Hill player. I'm a member of Cooks Hill, of course. I'm going to say he should have been sent off, but I used to referee as well, and I've seen these given as red cards, so quite lucky to remain on the field there. But look, Dudley were the better team. There's no excuses there. Sam Lavis scoring twice, Cole Hector getting the other goal, And even going to penalty shootout, they kept their cool. They kept their professionalism. Their goalkeeper on the day, Chris Mitchell, who I've been told isn't even a goalkeeper, this guy was great. You wouldn't have thought he wasn't a goalkeeper. So, credit to Dudley, Redhead. They played a great game today, and I think they're going to be one of the stronger teams in Zone Premier League. I've seen a few ZPL squads this week. They looked one of the better. We move on to the Cooks Hill side of things. This was piss poor. I'm not going to sit here and try and not describe how bad this was for Cooks Hill United. This wasn't a professional performance. This wasn't a performance that should be given by players who are being paid to play for their football club. It is that simple. They started very, very, very poorly. And this, I mean really poorly. I mean you had to be there to see it. Peyton Tagarulius opening the scoring in the 10th minute against the run of play. But yeah, this first half from Cooks Hill United was so bad. It was the worst. I've been to a lot of Cooks Hill games. This was the worst I've seen them play. The only two players I felt, I don't think you can go too hard on Kahibah in goals. It wasn't his best day at all, but I feel like the players let their goalkeeper down. Defending was poor, clearing the ball was poor, just hoofing it down the field, no aim whatsoever. Hoofing it over the sideline, communication, just timing, it was all wrong. Jack Wilson, the captain, led by example. He played a really decent game today and he got on the score sheet in the 60th minute. Emerson Augie scoring another goal. He's getting a few this pre-season. Scoring a dramatic late goal to send the game to penalties. And I almost thought Cooks Hill were going to steal it. It would have been highway robbery. There's no way to describe it. They did not deserve to win today. They deserved to lose by a lot more than a penalty shootout. And look, I don't feel like this team responded to the challenge today, Cooks Hill. I don't think they showed up. Credit to Ben Fralick, the young defender, was their best player today. And for a young left back to be the best player in a cup game says a lot about the attackers, and it just wasn't on today for Cooks Hill. This was a piss poor performance, and it has to get better. And I'm only going into this because Newysports, this site deals with New FM football. The majority of this site deals with New FM football. If Cooks Hill come out to the Newcastle Athletics field in 2 weeks and play like that against Kahibah FC, it will finish 10-0. Simple. University against New Lambton FC. The all-zone Premier League match. Callan Farmer, the only goal scorer in this game. I was over at the Cooks Hill game, so I saw this off in the distance. It was back and forth. Farmer scoring in the 75th and 81st minute. New Lambton getting the job done. They're a strong side. Uni are a strong side too. Scott Bailey as coach as well. Decent coach to get at Uni. But it was New Lambton going through. And this club, New Lambton, I say it every week, combined with the junior club, this club can be one of the big clubs in the second division, in New FM, which will probably be NPL 2 in a few years' time. They can be there if they want to be. If they work towards it, if they get the ground upgrades, they're through to the next round nonetheless. Rightio, Stockton 6, West Wallsend 6. I don't even know how to describe this game. this was crazy football. Hardly any defending, and both goalkeepers had a very off day. 12 goals, and then a penalty shootout that Wallsend won. I believe it was 8-7. I don't think it's on this team sheet. No, it's not. But yeah, I believe it was 8-7 in the shootout. Yes, it was. God, these are the sort of games that just it's mental to watch these sort of games. I'm not going to go through all the goal scorers. They're available on my match review. I'm not going to go through the order anyway, but Stockton, Lane scoring twice, Marshall scoring one, Gawley scoring one, Storsky scoring one. For Westy, Dan Legowski, Ryan Cole, I believe it is. Ryan Cole scoring two. Langowski actually got a hat-trick. Or did he? He actually got four? No. He got a hat-trick. Ryan Cole got a hat-trick. There you go, teaming up there. Double hat-trick for West Wallsend. And they went through in a dramatic penalty shootout win. You know it's a long penalty shootout when the big dog Oliveri's getting up there and taking a penalty. It's the best penalty of all 17 penalties. He's what's best. Cool, calm and collected. Stockton deserved to win this game. I'm not going to say anything but that. They played so well, and it was 6-4 with probably 10 minutes to go. Westy scoring in the 89th minute and the 94th minute of stoppage time. The very last kick of the game, Langowski equalised. Heartbreak for Stockton. They deserved more. They were so good today against a new FM club. Biggest game in Stockton's history. They showed up today, unlike a certain team wearing black and white earlier on. Warners Bay and Morisset, these two teams showed up too. What a game. I didn't get to watch most of it because I was over the other field, but from what I saw, these teams were going at it back and forth, end to end. They played the GF last year in Zone League 1. Morisset getting the win today. Jamie Bartlett scoring twice. Casey Target scoring for Warners Bay. Dave McPherson scoring for Morisset. And finally, Michael Brew scoring for Morisset. I got there for the final 20 minutes. Morisset just looked the better team. They'll go through, and for Warners Bay, you know, I think they can be decent this year, Warners Bay. I think they're building up their ground. They're sort of looking towards the future. And it's a nice little area there at Warners Bay on, forget the name of the field, but it's right on the water. John Street or something like that. Drove past it today on the way back from Lakes, or way back from Spears Point. Medowie 5, Mayfield 5. Seriously. This was some crazy games today. I missed this entire game. I got back from Macquarie Field to see the team shaking hands after a penalty shootout. Credit to Mayfield United, I tipped these guys to get knocked out 4-1. They showed up. They did not die at all. They didn't put the times down on the score sheet, so I can't tell you when the goals were scored, but 4 goals for Justin Behag. I hope that's pronounced right. But Justin getting 4 goals for Medowie, the only player all weekend to score 4 goals. Not even Sam Walker could score 4 goals. So perhaps he should be up front for Lakes with Sam Walker. It's stupid comments like that I make when it's 4 minutes to midnight and I've had 24 hours of football to go through. in the last 2 days. We move on, Beresfield versus Toronto. I got to this game 20 minutes in, Beresfield were 3-0 up, 30 minutes in. And I sat there and I thought, not again. Not again for Toronto. They have been poor all pre-season. And this is, I don't want to take shots at clubs, okay, but I have to be real about this. Toronto have not been playing the brand of football that their coach, their club would want them to play. They were 3-0 down at half time, and I was sitting right up this end of the ground where the coach was, where the team talk was. These guys copped it. They absolutely copped so much abuse from the coach. I was almost in disbelief. It worked wonders. This team came out Toronto in the second half and they did not lay down. This was an epic, maybe not epic, let's not go overboard. This was a classy effort. They wouldn't die off. Toronto gave it their all. Tim Salter, I believe it's Tim, yes it is, scoring 2 goals. Caleb Preble scoring the most dramatic injury time goal to send the Stags fans crazy. They did it. 2 penalties for Salter. Preble's goal was just, it was a great moment really to be watching there as a neutral, to watch the Toronto fans go up. What a comeback from 3-0 down to 3-3, and then heartbreak in the shootout, 4-2. Toronto deserved to win this game. They came back. Beresfield took their foot off the pedal. They deserved to go out. And I feel like they probably would have won a little easier with Danny Bird on the field. Defending wasn't Beresfield's top thing today, but they got the job done in the end. They got their penalties in. Their goalkeeper, let's have a look, Adrian Jones, I think he went left, he went right, missed a couple, and the guy I was watching the game with said this keeper's due to make a save, and he made a save, and it ended up winning them the game. Went a long way to winning them the game. Beresfield going through to a game against Kahibah FC, and Kahibah 5-2 winners over the Suns. I do not have the score sheet, but I do know that the goal scorers were Jaden Demir ×2, Jared Penfold ×2, and Josh Spencer ×1. Apologies to the Newcastle Suns Football Club. I do not have their goal scorers, but professional setup by the Suns. They were all there, and many of you will know it's a Macedonian-backed club, and there was a lot of familiar faces that I've seen around at Broadmeadow Magic as well, supporting their sister club. And the Suns, they weren't going to beat Kahibah. Kahibah FC, this team, look, they didn't even, I watched the last 20 minutes, but I had someone over there watching the game, and apparently they didn't even play that well. I spoke to Gumsi after the game, and I think he even said that there's room for improvement. They won 5-2, so John Clerk got sent off in the 20th minute or so. They played with 10 men for 70 minutes and they won 5-2. I'm excited to see what Kahibah can do this year. And with guys coming through, like young guys like Josh Spencer, Jaden Demir, Penfold, I guess you can chuck in there. It's an exciting team to watch. Matty Lee, another brilliant player. Spent all summer playing with him in 6-a-side. Led around by Andre Gumprech. This is a brilliant team, Kahibah. This is coming from someone who supports Cooks Hill. Call me biased. Kahibah FC will beat Cooks Hill on the opening day of the season. And that's as it stands. Cooks Hill are going to have to come out. Anyone. Kahibah FC, if they play to their potential, they could win it all in UFM this year. Premiers. That's not a joke. Late Macquarie City, of course, are the front runners, Wallsend, but Kahibah, I feel, this year are going to be better than last year. And it's a club on the rise, it's a club to keep an eye on. And today was just another step towards, well, a lot of their players that were watching that weren't playing, they're saying they're going to get to the round of 32. Why not? But I don't think that's going to happen. But Beresfield United next week, that's a tough test. And then who knows in round 3. But Kahibah, definitely a team to watch. Over at Macquarie Field, I was there for the first probably 60 minutes of Singleton's game against Charlestown Juniors. It was 1-0 when I left. Charlestown holding their own against Singleton, but it ended up 3-0 to Singo. Jackson Cox playing so well again. That guy's one to watch. The goal coming from, I'm trying to remember the name. One of their imports. I'm having a mind blank at the moment. One's Alex Clark, the other's Dylan Schrouder. He's the goal scorer. I think it was a header. But yeah, Singleton 3-0 win over Charlestown Juniors. They will play someone next week. Merryweather advance. Singleton should be too strong there. Message to the guys up there, bring the away jersey again for Merryweather. I know Singleton, I've been told they don't like wearing that white kit, but it worked for them today. The final game today, Belmont Swansea United 4, Swansea FC 2. Credit to Brad Paul, credit to his side. I'm pretty sure he's coaching there. If he's not, I'm sorry, but I'm sure he is. I think I read the announcement during the week. I like Brad, he's a good club man, and it looks like Bell Swans are going to actually be more competitive than I thought this year. They've had some issues with numbers, there was rumours swirling, but look, they beat Swansea today, and Swansea are a tough team to beat. They've lost to them last year, they lost in a trial the year before apparently. Swansea were confident going into today, and Bell Swans got the job done, and credit has to go to them. That they now have a bye next week, which means they're straight through to round 3. A couple more wins and you will see them back at the Macquarie football facility in June, playing for a spot on possible national television. Crazy, isn't it? That's might be thinking a bit too far forward, but good win for Bell Swans, confidence booster, coming off the back of a decent trial win in their last trial against Berkeley Vale, I believe. Oh, pardon me, it's past midnight, it's now Monday morning. We have wrapped up all 20 games wrapped up. Of course, Merryweather Advance and Jasmine FC will progress via forfeits to Nambit, and Curry were the forfeits there. Unfortunate, but that does happen. Part of the tournament. And look, I'm going to have a quick word here about two clubs in the new FM League, Wallsend and Kahibah, and actually Toronto. Add Toronto to that. And I think you can even add Lakes to a point. It was good to see players from the 17s, 19s, 23s getting out and supporting their clubs in the FFA Cup. Kahibah did. All their guys were there. A lot of the Wallsend guys were there, the 19s team. Lakes always have a very decent following. Their lower grades always stick around for the top grade. Toronto. All their guys there live streaming it. I don't know how many viewers they got, but good to see them there supporting their club. And there's some clubs like Cooks Hill, which is why I'm saying this, because I'm involved at Cooks Hill, and it'd be very good to see the lower grade players. 9 AM Sunday morning, that's probably not going to happen, but even at the Newcastle Athletics field, I'm really hoping Cooks Hill can get a lot of support this year. It's something that I love seeing around the grounds. Every ground in the new FM league is different, and going out to Wallsend, it's a very, very community-based club. Kahibah's the same, and I feel like some clubs, even Singleton, some clubs can do it better. Cooks Hill's one of those. I haven't seen South Cardiff's home ground or home games, but we'll see what happens there. But it is good to see lower grade players supporting the top grade and sticking around, and it's something I want to see this year. I want to see bigger crowds at new FM games. Even in the zone league, I guarantee you most zone league teams will have a decent following, and you'll see that today and yesterday and Saturday now. It's now Monday morning, but I love hanging out with the Wallsend guys, the Kahibah guys, Toronto. These are really passionate clubs. You know, even Thornton yesterday, they played at 6:30, and they had probably, you know, they just had their squad, and that was it. They didn't have any of their lower grade players there to watch that I know of. There might have been one or two, but I was about to say Westie are the same, but they actually played today in the lower grades. So the results there, while that's on my mind, off the top of my head, I'm not going to do it off the top of my head. Got to be smart with things, and trying to remember results off the top of my head after a long day, a long 2 days, is not a good idea. But thank you to one of the players out at Westie for messaging me. 7 teams finished 3-0 to West Wallsend. Kai Drayton scoring another goal. This guy goes good. Not the biggest player, he's probably got some growing to do, but definitely one to watch at West Wallsend. Jared Hayter scoring, Nick Bull scoring as well. 3-0 over Lake Macquarie City. That's a pretty decent result in the 17s. I don't feel like Lake's 17s this year will be as good as last year's, but a good win for Westie. How about this in the 19s? 3-all draw. Westie against Lakes. Lakes 19s are a very good squad. I've seen that squad lineup. This is a good result for West Wallsend. Goal scorers Alex Lowe, James Barn, and the infamous Josh Knight. And there was a send-off today, there was a fight, and it wasn't Josh Knight. I feel like that should be the headline of the whole day. Matt Turner getting sent off for West Wallsend. 23s finished 3-0 to Lake Macquarie City. All 3 goals coming in the second half. We're done. That's it. I don't know how long this video is. Actually I do. It's 54 minutes. So that's been epic. This has been a very long video, but it's good. It's been a great weekend. Credit to all the clubs involved. I thought it was a professionally run event. Credit to Northern New South Wales Football. They were very helpful with all the team sheets, and you know, they're complex there. It has had its controversies about injuries and that, knee injuries last year. As far as I know, there were no real bad injuries. One player hit his head on the concrete. I feel like the concrete should maybe be a bit further from the pitch. But smart decision not having the games during the hottest part of the day. Northern New South Wales did a good job of running this event. a lot of people coming through and out of the facility. Smooth exit and entry. A really fun event to be at. Really different compared to your normal match day where you got the same clubs playing in the same 4 grades. You know, get to see all these different teams that, you know, I admit it, I don't cover the zone league that much. New FM is the competition that I cover, so it's great to see all those teams, especially the new ones, Bolwarra, Hamilton Azzurri, you know, teams like that. Good to see them play in the national knockout competition. I love the FFA Cup, and a big part of me is very, very upset that Cookshill United are not going to be challenging for a spot in the round of 32. It was very unlikely, but after seeing Balmain Tigers last year, I wanted to see my club play Melbourne Victory, and I think there's a lot of people out there who want to see that, and I think you got rocks in your head if you don't want to see your club go onto the national stage. Let's face it, it's very likely that 2 NPL teams will get those 2 spots, but I'd love to see any New FM team take a spot, or even a zone league team, as crazy as it sounds. It was a very good weekend. Credit to Lake Macquarie City Football Club for hosting 5 games over there at Macquarie Field. A very good ground there. Not going to argue, it's a decent pitch, and I feel like eventually it would be nice to get a gate on that side of the football facility and a gate to Macquarie Field, so you can just go straight across the hill. That'd be nice, save walking all the way around. That's something to think about in the future. No need for a tunnel or anything like that, that's probably a bit expensive, but just a gate and just walk across the hill, gate into the other ground. But yeah, it was good, just a brilliant weekend, and I've definitely lost count of how many different clubs I've spoken to, how many different personnels, club presidents, players. It's been good, and there were 1 or 2 negative comments from some Dudley guys today, but that's all part of the thing, you know, that's all banter. I don't mind. For those who don't really know me, I support Cookshill, and I'm as biased can be. I'm not going to lie. So I feel like I did well tonight. Dudley were the better team. And yeah, to those guys that do question me, I don't care. I really don't, and I don't get too offended or anything like that. People are free to say what they want. I make mistakes. I make prediction mistakes. I make spelling mistakes. I make all sorts of mistakes. But the amount of positive feedback that I've got this weekend has just totally outweighed the negative. It has been brilliant, and it is a reward for a lot of hard work. 24 hours I've been working this weekend on football, yesterday and today, and I started, you know, I put my Cookshill jacket on. I got out to that ground at 8:45 Sunday morning. It is now 12:15 Monday, and I do a TAFE course, and I've got to be up for a 9:30 start at TAFE, so it's been a long night, and I feel like celebrating that I've got through this video. We're about to click over to an hour, so I'm going to cut it short. The intro will take this over an hour. For those of you who sat here and watched for an hour, then credit to you. You're the real MVP. For the others, then I hope you've taken advantage of the fact that I'm going to sit down and go through the entire video and click each review, so you can just go and watch the bit about your club. That's a good way to do it. Photos available on the Facebook page, reviews, all that. And I will see you next week on Newysports TV after round 2 of the FFA Cup next Saturday. Thank you, good night. It's been a great weekend. This has been an FFA Cup special episode of Newysports TV. I'm Ty Stedman. I will see you next week.